Welcome to University, a podcast for young people navigating life's big transitions. I'm Anne-Marie Cheresso, your host. On University, you'll hear stories from college students. You'll get tips from experts. And occasionally, you'll hear from a parent's perspective on how to manage this time of change in your life consciously. Find yourself, find your purpose, find your people, and pursue you fearlessly. Hey, Adam.
What's up, Anne-Marie?
I don't know, there's a lot going on right now. How about you?
Yeah, there's a lot going on right now.
It's that, like, right on the edge of the holiday season. Mm-hmm. Like, the cusp of everything happening all at once.
Yeah.
Do you feel that?
Yeah, you definitely feel it, and I often blame it on the fact that there's so many plans, there's so many things to do, that I get anxious. And I actually think that that's kind of a distraction from it. Like, I feel like this time of year, or I just feel like there's a lot of energy and anxiety moving through me. And so I use, like, plans as a reason why, but really I think, like, there's actually just stuff moving through me.
Well, there's a lot going on. Like, there's all these final things, like the end of the year and the holidays approaching us, and like there's closing things out. So I've just been sensing that, and what's weird is Thanksgiving falls so late this year.
It feels late, yeah.
It's like crunched right into Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And not everyone celebrates Christmas, but you know, many people do. So there's that. Even if you don't celebrate Christmas, there's still that like time of year where things are shutting down. Or if you're a student and you're in school, you're like cramming to get all your finals ready right now. So I know that a lot of students I'm talking to are feeling that pressure of like getting it all crammed in and done in the next few weeks, and then come home for Thanksgiving, and then you turn around and you have finals for a few weeks, and then you're coming home for Christmas or the holiday or the winter break. I don't know. So I've been feeling it. So I want to talk about two things with you today.
Okay.
I want to talk about that, which we already started talking about, and overwhelm and anxiety and stress, and how it's occurring in me and what I'm doing about it. Mm-hmm. Before we hop into talking about what we're going to talk about this week, I was curious if you're practicing or integrating the appreciation challenge we talked about last week, and if so, how it's going for you, because I've been doing it.
Yeah, I haven't, and it's been a challenge. Like, I've noticed it's difficult to be that mindful and to be that appreciative of things. That's
Really?
like a hard thing to do.
So are you able to, like, okay, so a little bit of what I've been doing. I've been in moments where I'm feeling stressed or overwhelmed in particular. But also, well, so here's what's happened for me. I've been feeling stressed or overwhelmed, and then I stop. I pause for just a moment, and I look around, and I take a breath, and I just look for something I'm grateful for in that moment. Like, and a lot, like, you know, I have a candle on my desk that I burn every day. And I was like, I just love that candle. I love the way it smells. I love the way it makes my office smell. I love the way it flickers. And it's literally like a 15-second practice where I intentionally go look for something that brings me a little bit of joy or I feel grateful for. And it's like a reset for me. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
So remember last week we talked a little bit about, like, you can focus your attention on the things that stress you out. Yes. And that's going to grow.
Yes.
And you could also choose to place your attention on the things that also bring you joy.
Yeah.
Which, you're right, I think it's challenging to find those things when we're feeling so stressed. But the idea is be intentional about it. Like,
right.
Look for it, because it's very easy to not see it when you're in stress, overwhelm, anxiety.
Gotcha. I mean, like, I totally get what you're saying. Yeah. And my pushback isn't from, like, okay, like, the intentional part means to me that it's a challenge. Like, the fact that I would have to pause and do that. Like, my default has been to focus and grow the negative feelings, negative thoughts.
Yeah, that's what we do.
So the challenge to me is the fact that it's like, okay, stop for a second. You can go back to that and building the other muscle.
Yeah. Well, what I've noticed, that's so true. And what I've noticed is it's a practice like anything else. And the more I practice, the easier it's becoming for me to remember to look.
Yeah. And then hopefully it just starts becoming part of the flow.
That's
of your
exactly
day.
right. That's exactly what's happening. But it took a while.
Yeah. I remember I got really good coaching from someone one time about a year ago.
Me? Was it me?
It wasn't.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, I know.
Wait, I heard really good coaching from, and I thought for sure it was going to be me.
Yeah.
It wasn't me.
Wasn't you. And, like, needless to be said, like, I get amazing coaching from you all the time.
Of course you do.
And but I don't know. I got really good coaching from my friend Ben. And
shout out to Ben Fritz.
Ben Fritz. Check him out on Instagram. He's great.
Yeah, he's awesome.
So I got really good coaching from him one time. I remember it was about a year ago in this time of year. And I remember like I was just like coming to him with negative things to say about like everything and like focusing like on my relationship. I just kept bringing up the negative. I'm like, oh, let's work through this negative thing. Let's work through this negative thing. And then he finally stopped me and he's like, just do me this favor for the next week. Here's a challenge for you. When you look at Mary, when you look at your girlfriend, find something that you appreciate.
Yep.
Just do that for the next week. And I gotta tell you, it took like 2 times for me to completely shift.
Yep.
And go, oh my God, she's the most wonderful woman in the world.
Right. And so what's interesting about it is she didn't change at all.
No.
It's just your lens that you're looking through changed.
Yeah, like she's the greatest. I just like would look at her and I'd go, God, her hair's really pretty. And then I'd be like, I love how she stands up for herself. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, like I'm like in love with her. And that's why I'm with her. And it made the holiday season last year like really great. Like I enjoyed going to, I mean, you spend a lot of time with your significant other during the holiday season, and it was really great.
Yep, and I did the same thing last year. The whole month of November, every day, I looked for 3 things about my husband, Kim, that I appreciated or loved or valued. And, like, our relationship shifted exponentially.
Isn't it so funny?
It was ridiculous.
Like, I was at dinner with her. Yeah, like, you just go, oh.
You're really cool. Like, but, like, the month before that, he was super agitating to me.
Yeah.
So, I think it works.
I think it works. Like, I think I actually had, yesterday I went to this show called Mesmerica. That's here in Chicago.
Yeah, me too.
You went too. And
it was awesome.
It was so cool. It's this like, I don't know how to describe it.
I described it, you weren't here last night when we were talking about it. I described it as like a giant kaleidoscope.
Oh,
you know how
cool.
You're looking through a kaleidoscope?
Cool. Thank
set
you.
to incredible music.
Yes. And it's vivid and crisp.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right.
It's fantastic.
So I noticed during that, I went, color is so cool. When the little dots with all the different colors. And I noticed myself get really, really full of joy noticing color.
Yes.
And then I was like, oh, is that why kids love sprinkles?
Well, I was just
because they were sprinkles.
Well, but not only that,
on the screen.
But they're just present.
Right.
They're delighted.
Like, sprinkles.
Yeah.
Give me sprinkles.
Look at how delightful that is.
Yes. I want that.
That looks really cool. Mom, look. I was having a hard time staying present listening to that.
During Mesmerica?
Yeah, like my mind kept wandering, and then I was like, come back. And my mind kept wandering, come back. And then I was like, you should really be enjoying this. It's so cool. Isn't this cool?
Isn't this cool?
Yeah, rather than just being with, this is what it's just being with it.
I think that's why it was an hour. Because I did that for the first 15 minutes or so.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I felt myself click. Like, I heard a click.
Yeah.
And then I went, oh, this is what I'm here for.
Yeah.
And then the next, 25 minutes were just, a ride. And
yes.
And I think
you went along for the ride.
I went along for the ride. And I think the guy even knew it. Because he said at one point, he's
James
like, okay,
Hood.
now. Yeah, James, he's like, okay, now you've had all that before. Now let's really go on a journey.
Yes, he said go deeper into
Yes.
yeah.
So, like, I think that he knew that there was a time where we were going to click. And, like, anyways, yeah, I started appreciating little things. And then, so we've kind of gone really big with this and broad. But, like, it is interesting how simple little appreciations in another person or in something walking
just
around.
Focus on gratitude.
Yeah. You can go back to the negative. There's always time, you know? But, like,
it's always there.
Yeah, it's always there.
But all, like, for the rest of the month of November and the rest of the holiday season, or maybe just the rest of your life, if we just practice remembering to notice the good, notice the things, and I know everyone's heard this before and it's not new, but it like really matters.
Yeah,
it really matters. And so it kind of leads into what, now that I think about it, what we're going to talk about, what's going on over here at the podcast at university.
Mm-hmm.
Because what I've been noticing, or what's been going on for me, is I've been overwhelmed and stressed. And I've been starting to get a little anxious. And a lot of times, what I've been saying is, I've got so much to do, I've got so much to do, I've got so much to do. And I haven't been keeping up with what I've had to do. And I was overwhelming myself. So what I've decided as a result was I'm going to look at what I've created in my schedule and what I don't have to do or what I can take off my schedule. And the other thing I realized, which is perfect, is I wasn't playing enough. Like I was all work and no play. So like last night was the perfect kickoff going to see Mesoamerica, because for me that was play. That was really fun. But we've made a decision here at university that we are going to take the next, I don't know how many weeks off it is. I think it's 5 weeks off. We're not going to publish an episode for the next 5 weeks. I'm giving myself and our team a break. And we're just going to rest and relax, renew, and play over the holiday season. And trust that you all will be there waiting for us in January when we come back. And what I want to say about that is one of the things that has kept me, producing the podcast, we've produced 56 episodes. This is our 56th episode every week for the last 56 weeks. And I had no idea when we started the podcast how much time, energy, and effort would go into producing the podcast. Mm-hmm. And what I love about it is that it's fun. Like, it's really fun to do, and it's a lot of work. And we're doing a lot of other things on top of it. So I just didn't know how much I was putting into my schedule and your schedule and everyone else's schedule. So that all to be said, we decided we're going to take a short break. We're going to trust that you'll be there waiting for us in January. One of the reasons I didn't want to take a break is because I had this fear that, like, oh, we're not supposed to take a break. We're not supposed to take a break. We're going to lose listeners. People aren't going to listen. They're going to,
Yeah, and they're all rules that you made.
They're all rules we made up.
You made them up.
Yeah.
Or like us. Yeah, but it's pressure.
Yeah, it's all this pressure.
It's all this pressure that we put on ourselves that you probably out there are listening are like, I gotta do this, and then I have to do this, and I have to do this, and then it's like you want to do all those things, you want to be able to do all those things. Those are all rules that you made up for yourself.
Yeah.
That you gotta do X, Y, Z.
Yeah. So we're just gonna take a break. We're gonna rest. We're gonna play.
You're creating space.
We're creating space.
Yeah, for whatever.
I don't know what's gonna rise up in that space, but what I do know is we're rebranding a little bit. We're going to work on building our website, which we don't even have. We don't have a website yet, so we're going to spend some creative time to do that. Mm-hmm. We have some new programming that we're going to be introducing in January. But also, like, I just want to play more. I want to spend more time with family. I want to spend more time on myself. I'm writing a book.
Oh, so yeah, this feels good for me too.
Does it?
Yeah.
Because I don't know if our listeners know, but Adam has they know you have a full-time gig outside of here.
Yeah.
And this is it's like extra work for you.
Yeah, it is. It's something that's on my mind.
Yeah.
And it'll be nice to have it not on my mind for a while. It's just space.
Yeah.
I'm just noticing space.
So one of the things that I think is really important is that when we give ourselves space, which we rarely do because we have all these constructs about how we're supposed to be using our time and space, we stress and overwhelm ourselves. And in that stress and overwhelm, we push ourselves and we get exhausted, and then we shut down. We're not available to be in our creative selves. But when we honor our need to rest, renew, and play, we actually recharge and we maximize our energy. And then we become more available for creativity, for innovation, for well-being. And interestingly enough, we become way more productive.
Yeah.
And I think there's this mindset that we have to push ourselves and work to get things done. But what I've been noticing is my quality of work is not so great, and I'm low energy, and I'm just not that available. But as I've given myself, permission to not produce 5 episodes this year, I've all this creativity is rising up in that freedom that it hasn't even happened yet. But in my mind it's happened. And so therefore all this creativity is arising, and I have all this energy.
Yeah.
It's super interesting because the break hasn't happened yet.
And you've just decided that it's going to happen.
It's just happening in my mind.
Yeah, you probably feel an immediate lift.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Well, so this analogy might not work, and we might cut this because sometimes we cut stuff when I ramble. But the analogy is I'm picturing a stick figure running a race. And as he's running this race, he's picking things up along the way. And his mentality is, and he has to drop them off down the line. And his mentality is, I gotta just keep going. And so what happens is the more stuff he picks up, the slower he's getting.
Yes.
And the harder it is for him to keep moving.
Yes.
But he just goes, I can keep moving, which is true. He
can.
I
have to.
I have to keep moving. I should keep moving. I have to. And so then he's doing it, and it's just slower and slower and slower, and he's now moving at a very non-productive pace, still getting things done. And now he's just basically running into a wall.
Yeah,
right?
He'll get there eventually, but he'll be completely exhausted, not his full self, not available.
And the stuff he's doing, he might have made mistakes along the way.
Yeah.
Right? So what you did is you just let go of that bag that he's carrying.
Yeah.
And just went, oh, okay, now I can make it and go from here.
It feels really good. So I'm excited. I'm really excited for what we're going to create for 2020.
And we can invite you guys out there to kind of give yourself some time to play in space and stuff like that.
Yeah. What I want for the listeners is, I think we'll still engage a little bit on social media, but I don't know. We're going to just play that by ear. But what I want for you all is for you I want to model what I want everyone to be doing. And what I was realizing is that I wasn't actually modeling what I was teaching. So take a break and notice, really, okay, there's 2 things I want you to take away with as we close out the year earlier than most people are closing out the year. First thing is appreciation. Really start to look around and just notice the little things that you appreciate and you feel grateful for. And every day, just notice a little bit and see if you can start to build that appreciation muscle and see if it feels any different. That's the first thing. The second thing is just give yourself some space to play a little bit more. So if you're studying for finals and cramming and really stressed out, take a 15-minute break and do something fun or watch something fun on YouTube. I highly recommend getting up and getting away from your screen. But if you can't, find something funny to watch or listen to, or just get up and do something for 5, 10, 15 minutes.
Call someone that you know is going to make you laugh.
Yes. I used to listen to, comedy on
Sirius XM or
wherever.
Something like that.
Yeah, just
right.
I would just listen to 15 minutes of comedy. So do something to shift and play, whatever play looks like for you. Literally before you came up here to record this, the cat, we have a cat named Midnight. He's awesome. And we had these little plastic balls, and he was running up and down the hallway playing with it. And he's just flipping his paw. He's 70 years old in cat years. And I was cracking up because I'm that's exactly what I'm talking about today. And I started playing with him. I'm
That's fun.
Throwing the ball with him. And I'm this is why kids and pets are so seductive to us. This is why we love kids and pets so much, because they remind us of the essence of letting go, surrendering, and playing more.
Of like why we're here.
Of why we're here. We're here to play.
Yeah.
We are here to play and have fun and be creative and innovative, and we have to practice building that muscle so that we have access to those things.
Yeah, we've been putting a lid on it since we were in high school, or since we've been getting assignments, since we've made things serious, since we've made life serious, we've been putting a lid on that play button. And it's now harder and harder and harder to access.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, I've kind of committed to that a little bit too. Like before we did this podcast, I normally like do my exercises because that's what I do. And I was going to do some ab work and do some like push-up work, and I just was like, I noticed myself going, I don't want to do that. I wanted to meditate.
It was so good. Foul was, I don't want to.
So I did. I meditated. And like, it felt like a playful meditation. And, and so, yeah, I mean, I feel really set for the rest of my day now. Because
and
I did
play
that.
All right, so we have this construct of what play is, right? Like, it's a particular thing. You're playing a sport, or you're doing a game, or whatever. But play is anything. You define what play is. Like, sometimes to me, staying in bed for 2 extra hours is playful.
Mm-hmm.
Or reading a book can be really playful for me. I don't know what play is for you. You don't know what play is for me. So my invitation to all of us is to really start to examine, what does it mean to play for me?
Right.
Like, for me, play is watching like really bad reality TV.
Trash TV.
Yeah. So figure out what play means for you. What opens and frees your mind?
Okay.
You know, we are so used to like rigidly thinking in like, you gotta read this and understand it and figure it out. Or we're at work and there's like all these like ways in which our intelligence is being used that is not freeing.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, play is about like opening your mind, getting curious, and just seeing what pops in. Like watching a little kid play. That everything is like, wow,
mm-hmm.
wow, wow. So figure out what that means for you, and then offer yourself a taste of that every day, just a little bit. But one thing I'm noticing myself think right now, and I think we all have a tendency to do this, particularly in our culture, is we intoxicate ourselves to give ourselves permission to play. So
like actual alcohol,
drugs.
Okay.
Like substances.
Yeah.
So my request and invitation, that's fine. Do that if you want to do that. I'm not speaking to that right now. We can have a whole episode on intoxication. But what I'm really speaking to is find a moment where you're sober, playing in sobriety.
Sure.
So not using a substance to enter play,
yes,
but practicing entering play from sobriety.
Sure.
So I think that's really important. So this is my gift, my holiday gift to everyone, is keep practicing the appreciation. I think the appreciation is a gift to yourself more than it is to anyone else. So let's keep practicing that. And if you feel so inclined, share your appreciation with someone if you happen to be appreciating them. Like, it might seem really odd or strange because we're not very skilled at showing one another appreciation.
Or receiving them.
And we're really bad at receiving it. But we're not skilled at giving it. And it's a really beautiful practice. I mean, we are in the holiday season, right? We're giving each other gifts all the time. What if we're giving one another just simple appreciations? Like, I gave Kim this appreciation. He's really handy and loves to fix things around the house. And I realized how deeply I appreciate that. And then I just told him, and he was like, oh, well, thanks. You know, like, yeah. It was really fun. It was fun. So that's a great gift for us to consider. It's like the gift that keeps giving to your own self and to others. But then also, I really want us to start practicing this idea of building our muscle of play, whatever it looks like. Integrate it, weave it into your day. It doesn't have to be a big thing. It can be 5 minutes, it could be 10 minutes, it could be 2 minutes. I don't care. But figure out what play looks like and start injecting it into your day. And particularly when you're feeling stress, overwhelm, anxiety, in those moments, that's when we really need to practice.
Cool. All right, I'll do that. Maybe I'll read a book next month.
You're so funny.
Maybe I'll take that space and read a book.
That's a good idea, Adam.
All right, well, till next year, till 2020, everyone.
Yeah, and maybe share with us what your play recipes are.
Yeah.
What are the things you like to do to play? I'd be curious to know.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, thanks everyone. See you soon.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to University. If you liked what you heard, I'd be absolutely thrilled for you to share with a friend, and equally grateful for you to pop over and rate and review on iTunes. It really helps. You can find more information and stay in touch over at university.u on Instagram or at University on Facebook. I'll look forward to seeing you there. For more information, email me at annemarie.university@gmail.com or click the link in the show notes below.